All right, so I'm Aaron Fields, and this is for CSC 842. This cycle, I went a totally different route than I did last cycle. So this cycle, basically, there's a whole bunch of different things that I was interested in, and I wanted to learn more about them, and I wanted to have a good way to learn more about them. So I don't really know where to start, so I'm just going to start. And as always, I don't have a lot of time, so I'm going to really fly through this stuff and not do any of these things justice. So basically, I was primarily interested in this tool called Angr, which is a binary analysis framework. It combines symbolic execution with SAT solving. And so basically, you can load a binary into Angr, tell it, hey, start executing here, get me to there, and tell me what the input is that I need to give the program to get me to there. So if that sounds like magic, it's because it pretty much is. I don't know how it works. I want to learn more about it. So I need some place to play with Angr. Of course, I can install it on my computer, this laptop that I'm on right now, and I have. But somebody suggested to me that perhaps I should try running Angr in Jupyter. So Jupyter, if you've not seen it, is a notebook for Python, and basically you can run Python in your browser. It's actually running on a remote server, not actually in your browser, and that was the wrong one. That was a Haskell notebook. So you can run Python in your browser. It's really cool because you can see the output right in your browser. You can save it, you can share it, you can download it. You can pick different kernels to run it on. So this is running on Python 3. It's really nifty. And the idea is if you put Angr in Jupyter, you can get output as you're going. You can interactively reverse engineer code, and you can really easily document stuff and share it with other people so that other people can also learn about Angr and or reverse engineering. So put Angr in Jupyter. Okay, so I hate installing, so you install Jupyter on a server, right? I hate installing software on servers. It's a pain. I don't want to have to spin up a whole VM just for one service. I don't like having a bunch of different services installed on the same server because sometimes they conflict and it's just a mess. And so there's this really cool project called Sandstorm, which is a self-hostable web productivity suite. So I have a self-hosted Sandstorm instance, and basically what Sandstorm is, it's like a sandbox for web applications. And so this is my Sandstorm instance. This is actually a Jupyter instance. I have a Rocket Chat instance. So you install these apps into Sandstorm, and then you can just spin up as many instances of them as you want. Share them with people, right? So I can share access with this Rocket Chat instance with other people. It takes it a minute to spin up, I think, because my server is doing other things as well, so it's kind of slow right now. But anyway, it's really powerful. Highly recommend looking into this for yourself. It's super powerful, really cool, right? So there you go. 2 seconds, more like 15, I guess. I have a new Rocket Chat instance, right? I think I have WordPress installed. I can install a WordPress instance. My blog, blog.spiratot.com, is hosted in here. That's a ghost blog with some special tweaks. Super powerful. Okay, so what I want to do is put Jupyter in Sandstorm. So it turns out that's actually really easy because Jupyter is already in Sandstorm. So all I had to do was fork that repository and install some extra tools to get Angr to work in Jupyter. So that's what I did in this setup.sh script. So they're just using Vagrant to spin up a VM in VirtualBox, install a bunch of tools, and then make a list of the files that have changed as a result of installing those tools and or using them. Then all of those get put into a list, and Sandstorm uses that to basically do this essentially like copy on write sort of thing. So I install Jupyter, and then I spin up new instances of Jupyter, and those new instances are copy on write sort of file system. So as you can see, even though Angr and Capstone and all of the things that it depends on take up like over 200 megabytes of space, this particular instance of Jupyter is only 128 kilobytes, so it's super efficient, very cool. The other tool to mention here is PyPy. Yes, I have a PyPy tab open. So PyPy is a fast, compliant alternative implementation of Python. If you've not used it, you should try it. It's super fast. It runs much faster than Python in almost every case. And it's also often more memory efficient than Python. So Angr can be kind of slow, and so I want to get every ounce of speed that I can out of it, especially on my kind of wimpy server. It is a dual-core mobile CPU, an Intel NUC, so it's a wimp, and so it needs all the help it can get. So one of the other things I did here was install PyPy as one of the Jupyter kernels, so you can actually use PyPy. You can use Angr in PyPy. So I mean, people have done this. This is nothing new. I guess the new thing here is just combining all of these things into one Sandstorm package. Okay, so hopefully I'm not getting too close to my time here. I never keep track. So I have this really dumb program. Just to give you an example, I wrote this stupid program tonight. It's a ROT13 like in key thing. So if you give it some input, it might give you no input, or output rather. If I give it the right input, it says, hey, you got it, right? So there's this ROT13 encoded key. It does some stuff, and eventually tells you whether or not you put in the right key. I'm sorry, it's super late, and my brain is not totally functioning. So you can run this in Jupyter. I have uploaded the compiled binary to Jupyter, right? And then this IPython Jupyter notebook can open that binary so Angr can analyze it. So I will just run this. It's going to run, well, let me try to run this. I'm not totally sure what goes on with Jupyter. Sometimes it gets a little bit unhappy. Okay, kernel ready. So let's give this guy a shot. So this is going to run actually somewhat slow because, again, my server is wimpy, but I can also run it locally. Oh no, you've already seen the answer. Okay, so I'm running it locally because my laptop actually doesn't totally suck. And as you can see, Angr is doing its thing. When you look at the program, you might say, oh, well, it's just ROT13. I can solve this in my brain very quickly. And you might be able to, but imagine this applied to less stupid programs. All I've done here, all I've done in this script is tell Angr, hey, load this program. This program is expecting input. I told it that the program could expect up to 100 bytes of input, which is not actually true. It's only expecting the length of this string, which is 26 characters, 26 bytes, right? But I said to Angr, hey, maybe it'll take up to 100 bytes, okay? I told Angr, get me to this point in the program, address 6DC, so like get the instruction pointer to that address, which that is, if you decompile this, or sorry, disassemble this program, is I think the address of this got it printf. Okay, get me there and avoid these two spots, this 691 and 5DC, which are this return one and on line 8 up in the upper left there, and line 26. Okay, so avoid those spots. Those are bad spots, right? And what do you know? It did it, right? It doesn't know that it's ROT13. It doesn't know, right? But it found the correct input, right? So as you saw earlier, if I give it that as arg1, it says you got it, right? So super nifty. This thing finished slower than my laptop, but as you can see, this is also here, so I can, I just saved that. I can, because Sandstorm is awesome, just share that with people, so I can get a shareable link, and share. I haven't shared it with anybody, but I can share it with anybody I wanted to, right? So anyway, that's what I made. Future work, I want to write some like tutorials for Angr, mostly for myself, but I mean, if they help other people, that's awesome, and that's why I am going to write them in this, so that hopefully they can help other people, and other people can like interactively play around with them if they want to. The other thing that I'm really interested in is once I actually understand more about Angr, I want to see if there's any reasonable way to integrate it into IDA, so that I can just like click a couple buttons in IDA and say, hey, Angr, get me from here to there. You know, maybe the program expects input, maybe it doesn't. So anyway, that's the stuff I'm working on right now. Let me know if you have any questions. That was a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm probably way over time.